Do you struggle with exercise? Or maybe you want to be more athletic? Well, make sure you watch this video because I'm going to share with you an NLP strategy on how you can begin to think, feel, and behave like a natural athlete. So if you've been watching this channel lately, you've been noticing there have been several videos on strategies. And strategies was a study that came out of neurolinguistic programming very early on. And what strategies are the study of how successful people think. What is the mental sequence that somebody goes through in order to successfully accomplish an activity? And initially NLP started by modeling therapists, right? Many of the techniques that you see on this channel have to do with having modeled how people change therapeutically. Well, in my last video, we modeled the naturally slender eating strategy, in which we learned how people who naturally eat in a way that allows them to be slender and thin, and what their mental strategy was, and how you can then install that, instantiate that mental strategy so you can naturally find yourself being trimmer. Well, in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you a very simple strategy on how to become naturally athletic. So if you've never considered yourself an athlete, when you watch this video and do these exercises, you can take this strategy with you to the gym, or if you do a sport like jiu-jitsu or martial arts or basketball or even lifting. If you want to improve your lifting, you can take this strategy into those environments and you'll start to notice sudden improvements in your ability within those activities. So here is the naturally athletic strategy. So the first thing that you're going to want to do in this strategy is you're going to want to see your model, somebody who does the activity really well. So in this instance, since I'm a martial artist, I'm going to use the example of perfecting my jab. Okay, so if I want to work on my jab, for example, using the naturally athletic NLP strategy, the first thing I'm going to need is a model, a visual representation of somebody who does the jab really well. And we're picking a really small chunk here so that you can learn how to do this for yourself. But you could apply this to the overall activity of martial arts as well. But so let's say I have my model and it's a coach of mine and I have this visual representation of my coach doing a jab. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very detailed visual representation of them doing the jab. I notice, for example, that their arms are up, and I've refined my awareness of it to notice that their hand begins to move first, their torso begins to turn, their feet, which you can't see in the video, but their feet tend to move, and then they get this really nice reach, bam, all the way out. And once I have a very good in-depth visual model of how they're doing this, because the more refined you can make that representation, the more refined are going to be your changes when you go to perform the activity. So one thing I like to do when I'm doing this is if you've ever seen like a motion capture sequence where actors who are playing CGI characters, like if you remember Gollum from Lord of the Rings, the actor who did that, he wore a green suit with little white balls that told the computer where the joints move. So you'd have a ball here at the elbow, you'd have a ball here, up and down the fingers, he'd have one on the shoulder, he'd have one on the different muscle groups. And so what I do is I imagine my model having one of those motion capture suits on, so I can notice all the different parts of his body that move to allow him to execute that movement. Once you have that, so you're going to imagine your model doing this over and over and over again. The next thing that I want you to do is to see yourself as your model. You're going to do a quick little trade there, where now you start to see yourself doing the activity exactly as you saw your model doing it. You're going to replicate the same exact motion, same exact sequence mentally as your model. So these may be things that you cannot do yet, and that's okay. But for now, you're going to pretend that you can move the way your model moves. And you're going to create that visual representation as if you are athletic the way that this particular person is. So 1, you're going to see the model do it. 2, you're going to see yourself doing it the way your model did it. And 3, you're going to step inside the representation and feel what it feels like in your body to be performing it as your model. You're gonna get a sense and awareness of what does it feel like to actually perform this model the way my mentor or model is doing it. So very simple, right? It's 3 steps. All you're gonna do, see the model perform the activity. Then see yourself perform the activity the same way your model does it, and then feel what it feels like to perform the activity from the inside, as if you're there doing it, already having made those learnings or changes. And what you'll notice is, if you practice this can actually start to become automatic and unconscious for you. And I remember when I was training a lot, I would be watching my mentor, this phenomenal Olympic level martial artist, and I could watch his stance, the way he bounced, the way he moved, the sudden shifts in his body weight as he was performing a technique. And in my mind's eye, I could quickly switch and see myself in that exact body positioning, doing the exact thing, and then boom, step into it and feel myself doing that activity. And what you'll notice is all of a sudden, your ability seems to increase. You're unlocking ability that was there the whole time, but you hadn't formed the neural pathways that would give you access to the movement. When you think this way, you are thinking the way someone who's naturally athletic thinks. You're stealing their strategy. And so what will begin to happen is with movements that you've never been able to do, let's say you wanted to be able to lift better or squat better or learn a particular jiu-jitsu move, you'll quickly find yourself being much more athletic in the sport or activity that you want to be. Now, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you hit the bell to get more life-changing videos like this one. And by the way, there is a free guide in the link below, right below this video, called The Elements of a Healthy Self-Concept. And you're really gonna want to check out that guide. Self-concept refers to your beliefs about yourself, and it is the single most powerful place to make changes. So if you're watching a channel like this one about how to improve your life, you really want to start to study self-concept. So make sure you check out that guide.